Namaste. See, the other day I shared one story with you. Today also I'm trying to share one more story with you. That story was relating to Sage Valmiki and Sage Narada. The story was how a robber called Ratnakar becomes a sage, and then he is known as Sage Valmiki, and he writes Valmiki Ramayana. This story begins from the end of that story. Now, what is this story? In this story, now Valmiki Ramayana has been written. So Sage Valmiki writes the Ramayana. The Ramayana is complete. But you know what? In the modern age, there is something called we talk about book review. That an author, a writer, he goes to another expert, another good writer, and he wants a review of his book from that expert, that great writer. Or he wants some good words to be written in his book for validation, for adding some kind of weight, to give some kind of importance, to increase the value of his book. So today's story is regarding the book review of Ramayana. The book review of a book called Valmiki Ramayana. Now in this story what happens now, Valmiki thinks that Sage Narada is the right person to review his Valmiki Ramayana. So Valmiki requests Narada to look his book, to look his work, and do a book review of Valmiki Ramayana. Now Narada takes the book Valmiki Ramayana, he sees the book in and out, and he says that it looks that your work is a great work, there is no doubt about it, but you know, I am not the right person to do a book review. And he asks Sage Valmiki, do you really know, is there any other person who has written Ramayana? Are you aware of any other person who has written Ramayana? To this, Valmiki says, no sir, I don't think anybody else has written Ramayana. I think that I am the only person who has written this Ramayana. To this, Sage Narada says that you do one thing. I came to know that Hanumana has also written Ramayana. And people say that even his work is a great work. But it has yet not come in the public. So nobody is really aware, nobody is really has actually come to know of that Ramayana. So why don't you do one thing? I am not the right person to review your Ramayana. You go to Hanumana, you show your work to him, and you see his work, and you can probably take validation from him. You can get your Ramayana reviewed by Hanumana. Well, Valmiki sees that this is a good proposal, so he takes the address of Hanumana and goes with his Ramayana. So Hanumana has become very old. He goes and meets Hanumana, he greets him, and he says, he gives the reference, he tells the whole story. See, Sage Narada saw my work, so this is how all happened. He gave me a mantra, I was a robber, and then I became a sage. I transformed myself, I became a writer, and this is my work. What came through me, what came through my higher being is this Ramayana. So I came to you to look my work and do a review. So do a book review of my Ramayana. Hanumana takes the Ramayana of Valmiki, and he in turn gives his Ramayana to Valmiki. They both exchange their works, and each one sees the whole of the work. While going through the Hanuman's Ramayana, Valmiki starts crying. He's weeping and he's trembling. From inside, there is a lot of fear. And then he's scared, he's frustrated, he's crying, he's weeping, and uh, he's saying to Hanuman that this is really strange. Your work, my Ramayana, compared to your Ramayana, it is just nothing. Your work is really the work of a genius. Now, after reading your Ramayana, nobody will read my Ramayana. After reading your Ramayana, then nobody will remember me. Nobody will say Sage Valmiki. Nobody will talk of Valmiki Ramayana. Hanumana looks this behavior, this whatever that is going on in the being of Valmiki, and then Hanumana says, okay, you give me your work, give me my Ramayana. Hanumana takes back his Ramayana. It was written on palm leaves, and he gulps the whole of the Ramayana. So he eats all the palm leaves. So he basically eats his whole of the Ramayana and destroys it. And then he assures Valmiki that he doesn't have to worry at all. He says, now you go ahead, don't be worried for your work. Only your work will be recognized in this world. The question of my Ramayana coming into the world does not even arise. Only your Ramayana will be considered as version 1 of the Ramayana. So you don't have to be worried about the fame of your book or about the reckoning of your book. Only your work will be recognized as a real and genuine and authentic Ramayana. So you don't have to worry about my work. So this is how Hanumana destroys his Ramayana. So we can say the version 1 of the Ramayana is destroyed. We don't even have an idea. Nobody knows what is written, how it is written, what is the essence in it. Only Valmiki read that Ramayana, and only Hanumana knows his work, but it is destroyed. So whatever we have today is version 2 of the Ramayana. Now while parting his way, Valmiki thanks him for this gesture, for this great gesture. And Valmiki says, sir, I would like to know from you the secret of writing this kind of a book. What is your secret? To this Hanumana says, so Hanumana shares, and he says, you see, you have written Ramayana so that people remember you as a great writer, as a sage. But I am a bhakta. I am a bhakta of my Bhagwan. I am his devotee. I am closest to him. I live in his heart. I have written my Ramayana not that people should remember me. I have written Ramayana so that people remember the deeds of Rama. They emulate him, and they in turn bring those deeds into the practice. So I have written Ramayana not for me. I have written Ramayana to show the deeds of Rama to the world. So he says, this is not a secret. If you want to call it a secret, these are your words, but I am a devotee of Rama. I don't want any credit for the book. There is nothing like some kind of expertise in writing this book. It is not my expertise. I only revealed what I saw. I am a witness. I am the closest witness to my Bhagwan. I am a devotee. I am his bhakta. I am closer to him. I witnessed all his life. So this is how, as a first-hand man, I wanted to share to the world his story. So this is how I brought his story to the world by way of a Ramayana. But that Ramayana is destroyed. So this is how Hanumana shares, if you call it as a secret, he shares, this is my secret. He says, if you want to call it a secret, it is this secret, but it is not a secret at all. To me, my Ramayana is not important. To me, my Bhagwan is important. To me, his deeds are important. To me, his karmas are important. To me, his acts are important. And by sharing his story, it will be a moral story, it will be a story to the world, and people will emulate his deeds. So that was the objective behind my writing of that Ramayana. So this is how Hanumana shares his side of the story, and they both part their ways. So this is how Valmiki Ramayana came as version 1 of the Ramayana. But it is version 2 of Ramayana. Version 1 of the Ramayana, we have lost it. So we have something called scriptures. The story of all scriptures is like this. Like our scriptures are divided into smritis and shrutis. Shrutis are called, these are the scriptures by these we call realized things. These are revealed things. So these are coming directly from the realized beings. So it's a first-hand thing. So in most of the Upanishads, if you see, the writer's name is not there. Because the writer felt that it is coming from the divine. He is only becoming a medium. So this writer felt that he is only a medium for that message which is coming from the divine. And hence, on most of the Upanishads, most of the Shrutis, you will not find the author. So best of the things, like best of the arts, it can be a sculpture, it can be some kind of a scripture, or it can be some kind of art. You will not find the name of that creator. The name of the creator is not given anywhere, because it is considered that they are coming directly from the divine, and the creator is only becoming a medium for that message to be delivered, for that message to be revealed. And in smritis are like, they are written by disciples. They are second-hand information, and the smritis can contain the name of the authors. But they are all second-hand information. They are not directly coming from the realized one. So this is how we divided the scriptures into shrutis and smritis. So I think that was the main reason. And you know what? We talk about guru, we talk about disciple, we talk about devotee, we talk about God, we talk about divine. Do you know what is the difference between a disciple and a devotee? Between the divine and the disciple, there is a guru in between. So the disciple has to cross this barrier called the guru. So the guru is coming in between. So there is one more barrier to cross through. Then only he can come closer to the divine and meet and merge with the divine. But between a bhakta and Bhagwan, between a devotee and the divine, there is no barrier in between. So the story of Hanumana and Rama is that of a devotee and the divine, that of a bhakta and Bhagwan, that of a devotee and divine. There is nobody in between. That is the difference. So it is a direct, first-hand thing. So this is a small story that I wanted to share. It is an extension of the same story that was story first, and this is story second, because it is again related to Valmiki Ramayana. So this is how Valmiki Ramayana version 2 came into existence. So that is it in today's story. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much.